the minority in Parliament has been drawn to an ongoing recruitment exercise of personnel into agencies under the Ministry of the Interior, namely the Police Service, Prison Service, and the Ghana Immigration Service, in total disregard of established procedures for the recruitment of personnel into those agencies. In specific reference to the police, sometime in 2018, the government of President Akufo-Addo announced that financial clearance had been given for the recruitment of 4,000 personnel into the service. Accordingly, the service advertised for the recruitment of 2,000 in the first instance, whereupon prospective recruits applied through the e-recruitment model. The applicants, we are reliably informed, went through all the necessary procedures, including meeting the academic requirement of having a minimum of 6 credits, maths and English inclusive, taking part in a competitive exam, and going through a thorough medical examination. After this, the police administration then compiled a list of qualified applicants in readiness for publication and the issuance of invitation letters for the commencement of training. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, the otherwise smooth recruitment exercise embarked upon by the police administration took a nosedive when the government of President Akufo-Addo suddenly ordered the former Inspector General of Police, Mr. David Asante-Apietu, to suspend the recruitment exercise until further notice. Subsequently, a new list, other than the list originally prepared by the police administration, was compiled and submitted by the government of President Akufo-Addo to the police administration for the issuance of invitation letters for training. The crux of the above narrative is that the recruitment exercise undertaken by the police administration in 2018, following the grant of financial clearance by the Finance Ministry, was truncated at the tail end and taken over directly by the MPP government, contrary to its own commitment to stamp out fraud and cronyism from the recruitment of personnel into the security agencies. The effect of government's direct usurpation of the mandate of the police administration to properly screen and select qualified applicants for purposes of recruitment is that several qualified applicants who had been shortlisted and were only waiting to be invited for medical screening have been denied the opportunity to serve their country. Only those connected to the MPP government in one way or the other were selected and trained. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, just as the recruitment of personnel into the police service in 2018 was characterized by outright nepotism and procedural breaches, the recruitment exercise, which is currently ongoing, is to say the least fraudulent. In 2019, there has been no advertisement whatsoever for recruitment into the police service. Consequently, no applications have been received or processed in the e-recruitment portal of the police service, which can be accessed online. And yet, certain individuals have been invited and are being taken through medical screening for purposes of getting them recruited. The story is not any different with the prisons and immigration services. Both services, like the police, have not advertised for recruitment in 2019. In the particular case of the immigration service, we are reliably informed that they have secretly invited mainly cronies of the MPP and taking them through screening and medical examination at the the prisons training school for recruitment. In all, the Immigration Service is hoping to secretly recruit 700 junior officers and 150 senior officers. The prison service has also sometime last week invited persons in suspicious circumstances for medical screening for purposes of recruitment. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, the minority will ordinarily be happy to see the police population ratio and the staff strength of the immigration and prison services improve or meet minimum UN standards in order to enhance our collective security. However, an increase in the numbers of personnel within our security services will only contribute to our collective security if the recruitment processes are transparent and devoid of partisan political manipulation. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, the NDC government in 2012 introduced the e-recruitment policy in order to bring to the barest minimum the level of human involvement in recruitment processes as a way of curbing fraud and promoting transparency. Notwithstanding the success chalked by the ex-while NDC government in this regard, the MPP in opposition in 2016 made recruitment an issue in its manifesto in the following words, quote, "Review and restructure recruitment into our police service to stamp out the fraud and cronyism that have been introduced into this process by the Mahama-led NDC government," unquote. Quite evidently, the conduct of President Akufo-Addo's government with regards to recruitment into the security agencies sharply contradicts his own manifesto pledge captured above. Flowing from the above, the minority hereby demands the immediate cancellation of the secret recruitment exercise embarked upon by the police, prisons, and immigration service in 2019. We also call upon President Akufo-Addo to institute measures to root out cronyism and nepotism with respect to recruitment into the security agencies. We thank you for your attention. Right from, I've forgotten the name of your outfit. From Bright FM Kweku, yes. He wants us to justify the claim that MPP members have been selected for recruitment. The answer, I think, is obvious. The MPP is in government. And so when a secret recruitment exercise has been embarked upon, what conclusion do you want us to reach? The only logical conclusion that we can reach is that the MPP government is recruiting its cronies. And that is why they don't want to advertise the recruitment process so that the generality of the Ghanaian people would put in applications. And if they were using the e-recruitment model, the selection would be computer-based. So the level of human involvement would be brought down to the barest minimum. That way, people other than those connected to government would be selected on the basis of the fact that they are qualified to be recruited. But if you go about the exercise in total darkness, it's done in an opaque manner, how would people who are not connected to government know that recruitment is going on in the first place? We used our sources through intelligence gathering to gather this piece of information. So we are not mistaken at all when we say that the exercise is designed to inure to the benefit of the cronies of the MPP. Otherwise, why is the process not transparent? And who is spearheading this? Who has authorized a secret recruitment? Obviously, it's the government of President Akufo-Addo. So for me, that answer is straightforward. Simon wants to know, I think I'll leave that, my colleague would respond to that, Honorable Fiamako. But let me finish with the questions that I think I should respond to. Daily Statesman wants to know how many illegal recruits have so far inundated our security agencies. Illegal recruits, given the sequence of facts and events that we have spelled out in our press statement, it is obvious. And if you scan the media landscape, the president himself has told us that close to 2,000 people have so far been recruited. If you like, 1,900 plus have been recruited out of the number that financial clearance was granted, which is 4,000. So what they are seeking to do secretly now is to recruit an additional 2,000 to make up the 4,000. Those who were recruited in 2018, we have faulted the process by which they were recruited, because a list was prepared by the police. People went through the normal process. They applied online. They were shortlisted for medical screening, body selection. They sat an exam. They even went through a medical examination. A list was prepared by the police administration. But that list, which was prepared by the police administration, we're saying was torpedoed. And in place of that, a second list was prepared, and that list replaced the original list prepared by the police. We have our facts right. So if you are asking to know about illegal recruits, what goes with that saying that the list that was replaced would be illegal. So we're talking about the inundation of the system with about 2,000 illegal recruits in the system. The final question I'd want to respond to, my brother will take over, is a recruitment of cronies into the services. Do I know the caliber? I think that these questions are very related. The caliber of persons cannot be in doubt when the process right from the onset is done in an opaque manner. It's not transparent. Clearly, the MPP manifesto pledge comes to the fore. What did they say in 2016? Because in 2016, throughout the 4 years that the NDC was in government, recruitment was done only once. 2,000 police recruits were admitted into the service, and so on and so forth. That process was transparent. The exercise was advertised to the whole world, and Ghanaians who thought they were qualified put in their applications through the e-recruitment model. They were shortlisted, they went through medical examination, they sat exams, a list was published. Those who qualified, their list was published. At the moment people are going through medical, they have gone through medicals. Have you seen a list published? Where is the published list of those who qualified for the medical screening? So the whole exercise has been done in an opaque manner, and there cannot be any justification for this. What they have done is a clear contradiction of their own manifesto promise, even at a time when there was no cronyism and nepotism with respect to recruitment. They were accusing President Mohammed's government of recruitment and nepotism and cronyism with respect to recruitment. So I leave the rest to my brother.
And now, 2019, you have gone out to functions to report on passing out parades, not more than 6 this year. And I want to ask you, when were those people recruited and trained? They were never advertised. And yet you have been attending passing out parades. When you go, you don't even ask the newly recruits when they were recruited. So the question is this: we don't sit here and seek to do equalization. The point we are driving out at this is this: we are saying that there are legal processes regarding recruiting people into our security agencies. Those legal processes have been truncated, so much so that today recruitments are done at the cover of darkness. Time was when you hear people queue in the sun, in the rain, just to get recruited in this country. Long queues. Within the past 3 years, I have never seen any of you reporting on those long queues. But people are passing out periodically. 3 days ago, some persons passed out of the army. When were they recruited? So, we are just stating the facts as they are. So sometimes don't listen, don't look at the messenger. Listen to the message. There are issues with the message. Take the message and go and do further interrogation of the issues we are raising. We don't sit here and do equalization. So that is not the agenda today. We are telling you that the sort of recruitment processes that are laid down within all the security agencies under this government have virtually been thrown out. And a new process of wholesome recruitment of party apparatchiks is what is the order of the day. Go and further interrogate this matter. Thank you very much.
The voter says that we take 2 more questions. So maybe let's just exhaust the 2 questions and then come.
Yes.
Let's get the answers.
Prince's question is about President Mohammed's accusation of the government about some training of vigilantes associated with the MPP at the Suchari military training facility. You see, government's own reaction to President Mohammed's, if you like, accusation, I wouldn't say allegation, because those facts President Mohammed spewed out are sacrosanct. You see, National Security Secretariat, Council Secretariat, put out a statement and said they are operatives of the Secretariat who are being trained. But earlier on, government communicators had created the impression that those were forestry guards who were being trained and that they didn't know them. You see, 2 contradictory statements. In any case, it is well established in law. And what is established in law was re-echoed by the Emil Short Commission, that the Secretariat of the National Security Council cannot and should not have a standing force. This is established in the Security and Intelligence Agency's law. The council is a coordinating outfit. They are not supposed to have even a SWAT team of their own. So what are they training those individuals for? And so the reaction of the National Security Council Secretariat in response to President Mohammed's accusation settles the matter, that we were right to say that those individuals pass for vigilantes. So they are trying to smuggle those vigilantes into the security system, the regular security system, so that in election 2020, they can then unleash violence on Ghanaians, like we saw at the Ayawaso West Uwako by-election. And so we're saying that we cannot tolerate this type of lawlessness in our country. We must protect the sanctity of our constitutional dispensation. There is no room, any attempt to usurp the mandate of the people is going to be resisted. The second question is that, what was the second question? What can we do to halt illegal recruitment? I think my friend from Radio Gold wants to know what the minority in Parliament will do to halt illegal recruitment. I mean, by interacting with the media, clearly, we want you to put this out in the public domain and to send a clear signal to the government that there are established processes and procedures for the recruitment of personnel into our security agencies, and that they must adhere to those processes and procedures. That is one aspect of the matter, because the media plays a critical role. You are the fourth estate of the realm. And so when the matter is squarely within your domain, it brings pressure to bear on political actors. That is number one. Number two, there are so many tools available to the minority. And so we expect that once this information is put out in the public domain, government will do what is right and proper. But should they fail to do what is right and proper, this parliament, the minority, could come by motions to call for an inquiry. A motion will be taken on the floor for an inquiry, a full-blown inquiry, to be made into the facts. I wouldn't say allegations. These are facts that we have put out there. And if that time comes, you'll be shocked. The evidence we have the list of those who qualified and were supposed to have been issued with invitation letters. We have the list. That list, that the process that was truncated, and the list that the police had in their possession, we have it. We have it. So we are not just spewing out lies for the sake of political equalization. We are putting these facts in the public domain because we are talking about an exercise that has the potential to undermine our national security. And somebody posed the question, I think that is the next question, that how can this exercise impact on security? It has grave consequences. When you recruit persons on the basis of nepotism and cronyism, what you do is that you sacrifice competence. The eligibility criteria for recruitment is sacrificed. First of all, your fitness to be in the service would usually not be taken into consideration. And even your loyalty and fidelity to the state is compromised. Because you know you came through dubious means, your loyalty is going to be to a certain political party. But is that the system we want to build for ourselves? The loyalty of the security agencies must be to the state. And not any political parties will come and go. But the state of Ghana is a going concern with perpetual succession. Its existence is perpetual. So we must not toy with these issues. Now, Ejonam wants to know, he talked about waiting list. Look, there is nothing like waiting list. I made the point that some advertisement was made in 2018, and the criteria, the eligibility criteria was spelled out. And the eligibility criteria has something to do with age. So if the ceiling is 25 years and you applied in 2018, okay, we're in 2019. If, for reasons best known to the government, those individuals who ought to have gone through the process were not invited for training, first of all, why were they not invited? We have to answer that question. And that is why I'm saying that there was a certain tinkering with the process started by the police service, and that is what resulted in the backlog. In any case, those who probably would be on the waiting list would have exceeded the maximum age for recruitment. If you were 25, for instance, in 2019, you would be 26. In that case, you are disqualified. Secondly, if you went through medicals in 2018, the results, the outcome of the medical examination would only be relevant in 2018. Because usually, you don't allow a lot of time to pass after the medical examination. If you allow a lot of time to pass, say 1 year and more, you could have done a lot of things that in a way would change your health status. So you will not, it is unacceptable for you to rely on previous for instance, that would have been in existence for about a year, and on the basis of that, you are called to come for training. So the concept of waiting list is intolerable so far as recruitment is concerned in our security agencies. So, if it turns out that they are not on any waiting list, we are telling you, want to be pushed. If we are pushed, we would furnish you with evidence subsequent to this particular engagement. We want to be pushed. We dare them. We want to be pushed. There's a saying that when a blind man says, I will stone you, he's standing on something. We are standing on something. and should not be dead. We want them to do the proper thing in the interest of our collective security. Period. Period.
I'm not there yet. Let them respond. Let them respond. Yeah.
First of all, the facts we have put out there are facts that are well known to the agencies. Now, we don't blame the agencies because the agencies did not do anything wrong. We're saying that the agencies are victims of partisan political manipulation, and that partisan political manipulation is what accounted for the truncation of the exercise that the police themselves, for instance, spearheaded in 2018. So those facts are well known, and so we would put them out there. The police service cannot deny that. Why? People went through, and there is a tall list of people who went through the process and even passed the medicals and were never called. On a daily basis, they thronged my office. So what evidence do you need again? So the information we have is credible. We don't doubt the credibility of the facts we have gathered. We've used various sources to collate the information. And it's time to put the information out there. But if we are contested, at that point, we would come out. We may even cause the publication of the list that the police themselves prepared.
Yeah. My brother, we say that this thing is a mail. We are holding you.
Is it not strange that the public affairs director of the prisons is saying that the people who were called recently for purposes of recruitment constitute the 4th batch and that they were shortlisted last year? How were they shortlisted? Did they publish a list? Currently, have they published a list? Have they published a list of those who were shortlisted sometime last year and constitute the 4th batch? In any case, I made the point earlier on, and let me repeat myself. The circumstances of a qualified applicant last year cannot form the basis for recruitment in 2019, because the health status of the person may have changed, the age of the person naturally would have changed, and so those are factors that would, if you like, repudiate or undermine your status for recruitment. So let them come clear. In any case, publish the names. If you had a list in 2014, show us the list you published in 2018. 4th batch. So how many batches did the prison service train last year? How many? It means they trained 3 batches. And so 3 batches would have passed out. That is the logic of what the officer told you. So you see, the more we try to justify this whole thing, the more you get exposed. So, please, we are doing this for the sake of our collective security as a people. This thing is not about political equalization, because we have one country, Ghana. We have one country, Ghana. That's all. We want people whose loyalty to the state would be unquestionable. You can rely on them at any point in time when the security of our state is threatened.